Oh, what's up, everybody? I'm going to do a paper joint demonstration for you guys. It's helpful in stair work I do and cabinetry work, mantle work, where you need like a half of a turn column on each side. How do you do that? Do you turn the column and then rip it through your bandsaw? Sure, that works. Do you rip it through your table saw carefully? Sure, that works. This way is a paper joint that gives you perfectly half of a turned object or whatever. Take that. Most of the time in my stair work, it's imagine going up your flight of stairs. So it goes up at an angle, your handrail hits a post at the top, and then usually goes across the balcony and dies into the wall somehow. Most of the time, it's some type of rosette where the handrail will die into the wall, or the handrail just goes straight into the wall and finishes that way, or it's a half of a post. So say I got to turn a bunch of posts this profile for the rest of the stair. But at the top of the stair, I need something to finish that, and they want it to look the same. So what happens? Say I need a post turned to a profile, and it's 4x4. So I take up, cross cut it to whatever length I needed, ripped it down to 4 inches, give or take. For this, I'll just say 4, just to make it easier, and then I'll mill it up to 2 inches thick. That way I have a true 2x4, and then glue those together with paper in the middle. So then I take and turn it and then split it in half, and then that way I can take this profile, and it's half of the newel post, and screw it against the wall and have the rail die into that, and it's just a whole nice added feature. It's the more higher end way to do it. It looks more finished. So I'm going to do a little sample of that. Alright, we are going to glue these together with some paper. Hopefully you can see, when I imagine this being a normal stair newel post, when I want to turn it, I want it to be balanced and the grain going in the same direction. That way it turns the same if you ever have to come across have to glue up 2 pieces. So I don't know if you can see that, but the grain there is going like this. So I'm going to line those up just so they're all going the same way. I'm not going to do, well, that would still be the same, but let's see. Well, this one's pretty good, but let's do an example like this. Say the grain was like this. Big arcs. Like that. That's the way I want to glue it up, because imagine a tree. This would be a tree. The growth rings of a tree. So that way it turns properly. If you do it this way, you get 2 different cross grains when you're cutting, and it doesn't end up right. So whenever I'm doing it, I like to try to line those grains up so they're roughly going in the same direction. So I also like to sand those 2 surfaces that are going to go together just with the sanding block real light. That's just to knock off any hot spots or anything like that. Take this paper. Any paper works. Really, almost any paper. Newspaper will work. Printer paper usually works pretty well. What else? Like a soft. I don't know. Yeah, those two work pretty well. Don't have to be perfect. So that's that piece. Same thing, I'll put glue on both surfaces, however you want to apply that. Paper on. Paper up. Hey, good enough. That's it, glued up. Let it dry. We'll be back. Okay, so this is what we got. I just unclamped it and chopped all the ends to have some clean surfaces. And I'll take my center finder here. You can mark 2 sides. I always mark 4 sides just because out of squareness, and you can see 2 sides lined up and 2 sides didn't. So you split that difference on the 2 sides that didn't and stay to the one that did. That way you know you're as close to center as possible, I guess. Take my punch. Little punch for the tailstock end. Big punch for the... Alright, now I'll take my drive center and drive it in. This is a lead hammer. It probably weighs, I don't know, 15 pounds, maybe even more. That's solid lead in there. Okay, so this is my lead hammer. I had a smaller lead hammer a while ago, and this same one, it was a little smaller, but it wasn't contained like this. And this is just a soup can, and it was deformed and falling apart and everything. And I was like, man, I need to make a new one. This thing is great for driving in your centers, rather than taking a regular hammer or whatever and damaging and mushrooming out this ends of your centers, your drive centers. This takes the grunt of the punishment there. Like I said, it was an old one. I was getting all messed up, so I was like, I got a better idea. Let's take a soup can, rig it somehow, busted off all the old lead. I had a bunch of old lead laying around, and heated that thing up on a cast iron skillet over the propane, like turkey fryer, and filled it up. And this is what we got. It's probably, I don't know, 15 pounds at least, and it dries really well, and it doesn't mess up your tool, so that's a good thing to have. I should have showed that process, but this was a while ago when I remade it. Alright, I'm going to chuck you up, turn something, small like newel looking thing, and then we'll split it in half to show you what it looks like. Let's do it. Okay, so now I'm between centers, and we'll turn like a little newel post here, and I'll show you how that works. All right, let's do it. All right, so I'm gonna treat this just like a small little newel post. So I have the dimensions normally, and so normally the first thing I do is come down a certain distance, find that mark, take my square, make a line. That gives me a reference mark when it's spinning, to where I know I have to start my profile, and this remains a square block. So that's what that is. And I also, most of the time, I'll take a knife, and depending on the profile and the pummel here, I'll scribe it nice and gentle all the way around, all 4 sides, blah blah blah. Okay, that ensures me I don't get any tear out, because that'll happen sometimes, definitely on the wood, so certain pieces of wood. Alright, then I turn it to the diameter I want, so that's what you're going to see here. Alright, I'm all suited up here, and we'll turn it to this diameter but round. And we'll start with something like that and see if I can get some sort of profile here. But that's what I normally do for a null post. This is so small, I turn the whole thing. Normally I start at the tailstock end, turn all that profile, and work my way down, just for stability and support of wood. But this is so small, I'm just going to do it real quick. So I used a parting tool to part down here, and then used my roughing gouge to rough it out to round. Alright, see if I can make something. Alright, for instructional purposes, I think that's fine. So that's what a null post would be like, something like that, right? Okay. So we'll come back off, and we'll take you back over here. Nothing fancy. That's actually, let's say it's a table leg. And now it's a table leg. Right? Okay. So now we need half of table legs, or half of a stair post. Let's go over and show you what I got. Okay, I was going to show you this half cap thing, but that could be another video, and I don't want this one to go too long. So, like I said, half of a table leg, or you built a nice fancy built-in custom cabinets, and the cabinets on the end need something to finish it off, and you need two half legs there or something. Or you got a null post, and you got a wall, and the handrail needs to be half of that wall, and the handrail needs to die into it, have something to secure to it and look good. So this is what you got. You have a paper joint. Same reason you use a wooden mallet, so it doesn't mushroom your chisels and stuff like that. This is the same reason I use the lead hammer over here too, just coming back to that. All right, so this is what we do. Sitting there, line your chisel up with the paper seam. Give it a few taps. Already starting to come apart. Barely did anything there. Hopefully you can see that. Go back to here. Boom. Split in half. Two perfectly halved pieces there. Alright, see that? Paper was strong enough to hold it together, but it was weak enough to still split that joint. So you need paper that doesn't have a waxy coating on it. You need something that the glue will penetrate all the way through. So that's it. That's how you do that right there. That's called a paper joint, is what I call it. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's called, but that's what I call it. And that's how I use it, and that's what I need it for when I need it. Many other things you can come up with woodworking for this process here. So hope you enjoyed that. If you did like this, leave a thumbs up as always. Hit that subscribe button if you want to. Yeah, and that's it. I'll see you on the flip side. Thanks for watching.